Hi, my name is Abraham Rodriguez, and I am 25 years old, and I currently work as a booking and communications coordinator for an outreach program, and by night I am an artist. A color pencil drawing that I did of Jessie, the yodeling cowgirl from Toy Story 2, and it's her sitting in front of a window and it's kind of cloudy and stormy outside. That piece is my favorite because it was my first attempt at a fully realized colored pencil drawing with not just a figure, but a figure in its environment. And I think that I was able to capture that moment that I love in the movie. My favorite movie is Toy Story 3. I think it's a fantastic ensemble movie. It's also a great heist escape movie, like prison escape movie, and I think each character is treated so well and given so much attention. It's fantastic. I would love to work on designing an amusement park attraction like a roller coaster ride or a dark ride, and to be able to design the queue, so what people see as they're waiting in line, as well as the ride itself, and to be able to tell the story even before the patron gets on the ride to transition them into that world. A ride that does that really well is actually the Monsters, Inc. ride at California Adventure. You start out in the line and you're kind of in the Metropolitan or Monstropolis metro station, and they have posters and vending machines, and it's all themed within the world. There are little hints and clues that lead you up to what you're going to see on the ride, so the story has already started for the audience. My favorite thing to do to kind of refresh myself creatively is to go back to the source material. I get super inspired by characters and stories that I love, and those are typically, Toy Story, comic books, the X-Men, video games. So when I'm kind of feeling a lull in my creativity, I go back to the source material. I read comic books, I watch movies, I try to get inspired by those characters that I fell in love with, and then that will inspire me to try to capture them on paper. I don't necessarily know that I have a purpose or a goal with my art. I almost do it selfishly, and I do it for myself. It's therapeutic for me. There's something about working on a drawing and trying to get all the details right that fulfills a creative need in me, and it makes me happy to be able to, again, capture the characters that I love on paper, and I think my art is a little bit selfish, and I do it for myself. I think I would want to be remembered as somebody who cared a lot and who put a lot of effort and work into what I do. I like to be known for the details, so I think if I were to be remembered, I'd want to be remembered as, the guy who looked at all the little pieces. I typically use colored pencil. That's my favorite medium to use. Sometimes I'll use just graphite pencils or acrylic paint. I've dabbled a little bit in watercolor, and I think I would, if there was a medium that I'd like to expand my use of, I think watercolor would be a great one. It's a little scary for me. I don't know why. Like, colored pencil doesn't scare me, but watercolor does. And also I think I want to try creating physical things, sculptures or clay. I think sculpting would be a challenge, but I think it'd be kind of cool to try. It would for sure be in the Marvel Universe, and it would, like, 90% sure it would be an X-Men comic book. I love the X-Men, I love the characters, I love their struggle as they basically just represent like every minority in the world. If I were to illustrate it, I would like to capture like the depth of the stakes in the comics. And I think sometimes people have this idea of comic books that they are like light and fluffy or kind of ridiculous over the top, but I think they can be great mediums for storytelling, and I think the right illustration for a comic book can help push that narrative forward. So I would love to illustrate a comic book with some grit. My creative process starts with me being inspired, and that's usually, again, from some sort of source material. So it will be that I read a comic book, or that I'm playing a certain video game, and at that moment, that character is everything to me. What I typically do is I find some sort of composition that I like of that character, and then I do all my layout work of what the composition is going to be, and from there I bust out the colored pencils and I start going. Some people might do like a big overall general and then go back and add details. I actually move like section by section, so I'll start with an arm and I won't move from the arm until the arm is done, and then I go on to other parts of the picture. I'm usually sitting cross-legged on the carpet in front of my coffee table, drawing while I binge watch some show or on Netflix. It's actually about like the logistics of it, so it has to be something that has at least a full season, because I know it's going to take me several hours to finish my drawing or my painting, so it has to be able to like last that long. It also has to be something that I don't have to see everything, since I'm going to be spending most of my time looking down at my drawing. I've tried it with some more intense things like a scandal, and that is a little bit more difficult to follow. So something kind of light and fluffy, or something that's, again, the source material. So if I'm doing a superhero drawing, you know, I might put on a superhero movie that I've already seen, so I don't have to keep watching. My name is Abraham Rodriguez, and this has been a 48 Hours Artist of the Month. And I'd like to thank my family and friends and my boyfriend Josh, and I'd like to thank all of the amazing writers out there who have created these characters that inspire me. So thank you, comic book creators, and thank you, Pixar, and thank you, Nintendo. Bye. Appetizer, yes, it's good, like cheese stick. You pick up like cheese stick, like finger food, like the balls, like the cheese balls. Finger food, appetizer. You're recording.